These fuckers need to get girlfriends.
Look.
I'm not talking about you fuckers. I'm talking about the Getbackers.
We're back, everyone. We watched Getbackers. It's been a trip down memory lane here. We haven't done Getbackers was season 1 of our podcast.
So we watched episodes 15 through 33, but we previously watched episodes 1 through 14. Way back in 2019.
Yeah.
Maybe it was early 2020. Early 2020. Because remember, we were in quarantine and we were doing double episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it has been a long time. So just to refresh our minds, I'd like to cover the ratings we gave this last time. So last time, I gave this an approval. Realm gave this an approval, which will carry over, even though he is not here with us today. That's our rule for ongoing shows. Unless he watches more and changes his opinion, he's going to stay at an approval. And then both of you gave this a neutral originally, or a meh, essentially. So, based on that, obviously, Realm's vote carries. So we've got one approval. I still see this as an approval, but I'm definitely more understanding at this point in time over the fact that a lot of my approval is nostalgia based. And that's not going to change my opinion. I'm not going down to a meh, but I can definitely, upon more consideration, see that a lot of my love for this show is deep lore and nostalgia based. So I maintain an approval, but
well, that's fair.
You know, it's just this is my Nasuverse basically.
Oh yeah,
I will die for the show. So how did you guys feel about it?
My feelings are a bit more complicated because last time I was just aggressively bored.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the problem last time. I was aggressively bored, and there were things that just kind of grated on me a little throughout the show.
This show kind of did that Katekyo thing where there was a lot of filler episodes before we got a real arc. Yeah. And then I did end it mid-arc in our original submission. Like, the first major arc we had, we didn't get through. We, got 2 episodes into, and then I had to end the submission because of our episode constraints.
Now, I'm not moving to an approved at all, but it's hard to explain. I feel like when I'm watching this, I'm watching what everyone knows anime to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I completely get what you mean, but I think I get the spirit of what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing inherently wrong with it, per se.
But it doesn't tickle your fancy.
It doesn't tickle my fancy, and I feel like what I do get out of this show, I get... No, I don't want to say I get elsewhere, because that's kind of mean and a little bit reductive to what the show's doing. I feel like...
Well, and you will be reading the manga of this soon. So we're actually going to have a review of the first manga volume coming out in a couple of weeks after this episode airs. So I think it'll be interesting to see that, because I originally thought that they were very similar, but upon further research have realized that quite a few things were changed between the two in the deep lore, which may have been, is a little interesting upon retrospective.
I think it's the character archetypes and how the character interactions are portrayed. It feels very if you've seen...
It feels very 2002?
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of 2002 anime. So a lot of those shortcuts, where they don't bother me for shows I have watched back then that were more nostalgic, here it's like...
You don't have nostalgia.
No, and it's just now I'm this is just kind of... Here's this type of character and this type of character. It just... makes a lot of things not come off as very interesting to me when I know they want to be.
An era that we've outgrown in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
More simplified character stereotypes and archetypes that we have kind of, at least in modern anime, has largely put aside in favor of either more complex or varied character archetypes.
Or just going the other direction and just making everyone a complete block of wood, but that's another problem.
Yes.
What about you, Vorn?
So I'm going to break this down and then give you my overall. So, we finished season 1, which I actually did quite like. It was draining a little bit at the start, but it was overall improved on that section. And then we started with season 2 and the basic...
rash of filler episodes.
Yeah, basic adventure stuff, which it was kind of... it got long tooth eventually and just became meh for me. And then we get to the final 3 episodes, where is that an arc?
Yeah, so season 2 is pejoratively made up of 2 separate story arcs and then a bunch of filler episodes in between each. So we finished season 1. Everything we watched at the end of season 1 was part of the major story arc in season 1. And then we had a couple filler episodes, and then the arc, and then a filler, and then we start the pejorative second arc, which we will be finishing this show on the channel sometime soon. I'm gonna put this back in the hat, and if it doesn't come out anytime by like mid next season, at least I'll be just putting it in just to get us through it, because it is only 49 episodes. But I see what you mean.
Yeah.
It does the Getbackers thing where it started both seasons like with a rash of fillers before actually hitting a story arc. Yeah. Which Getbackers doesn't do every time, but it did in the season we watched, and it was a problem.
Yeah, like if you do it at the start, it's just an absolute shit show because there's nothing there almost.
Gintama!
Yeah,
yes.
Kind of, like Gintama covers it with their comedy.
So, yeah.
Vaughn, what did you think going out of that last arc? Because we did have a little bit more of a substantial arc at the end.
I give that arc an improved. And
so where you sit
all, it is a ever so slight approved.
Okay.
He went up in the world.
Yeah.
You inched me forward.
Yeah, I think another element, I'm gonna do so we've been doing the breakdowns of like music and stuff like that, and we didn't do that in first season, so I'm gonna go over that in a second.
I want to say, I don't think we actually had a change in OP. I kept listening towards
We did.
We did.
We had a second OP. It started at episode 26.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a completely different OP. Do I need to pull it up and play it for you?
Yeah, I don't think I caught it.
Okay.
I thought I kept listening for it, but I kept...
All right, I'm going to say something first, and then we're going to take a pause just to watch the second OP. But I will say, upon further research, I'm really interested in how they structured this series for the anime, because it's not what I would have chosen to do. And I think that, for example, in season 1, right, the Infinite Fortress arc is too long and too heavily weighted toward the back half of the season. But at the same time, 2002, this was coming out in like a 25 episode season, not a 12 core. So I get it as a 25 episode season, but this does not work as a 12 core show. It would never. Because 12 core would not cover the entire Infinite Fortress arc, nor would it actually get into anything at the beginning half. So
yeah, but like the problem even with like it as a 24 like section right there is that like you're probably just going to get bored during the first half and then drop it.
It's very clear when watching Getbackers that it is not part of the binge era of shows in general.
Yeah, because
it is very much an adventure of the day. The biggest draw for it is if you like the characters as a kid, you're gonna tune in. Like, come back tomorrow, come back next week, and you're gonna see the next adventure or the next part in this mini adventure.
Yeah, because I mean, we didn't talk about this a whole lot during the first time, but I can a little bit mention it now before getting into it later. But essentially, the first 12 episodes are basically filler, and then the latter 13 or 14 in season 1 are a whole arc, which is a really bad breakdown of like what's doing what. So we'll be back in a second after watching the second OP. So,
oh man, I thought I was being gaslit for a moment.
To be fair, you do it to me with Lunar Legend Tsukihime.
What are you talking about?
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
What's there? You wouldn't read a visual novel like that.
Shut the fuck up, bitch. Anyways, okay. Fun story. So this is obviously originally in sub, obviously, Japanese anime. However, there are 2 versions of the dub, and this show is legally available on High Dive, but only one of the versions of the dub. You actually cannot get the sub legally in the US.
So what happened was all 3 of us watched a different version starting in the second, like starting once the filler.
So we all finished the first season together watching the High Dive dub, and originally I had intended to show them the sub of the second season, because I figured that at least you had watched the dub before that because you were watching it legally, I think, or whatever. But and then I realized that the site I was using for the sub was super low quality. I actually found a better one and ended up watching it there. But so we switched back to High Dive just for the animation quality, so it wasn't so pixelated. But we had to deal with the dub. And up to the end of season 1, the OP remains the same. However, at episode 26, it changes to Bairai no Seke or something. And I got to experience that because I went back to the sub after season 1.
Of course,
and
the one that bitches about the OP on a regular basis got strapped with the version where the OP doesn't change across the entire show.
Please tell me that you watched the OP through
I
at
watched
least
it
a few
couple
times to make sure. Because you hate OP1 and I adore
with
OP1.
A passion.
So I actually really like OP2 as well.
OP2 is okay.
Yeah, it's called
Yeah.
it's
Better. Way better.
Bairairo no Sekai by Pyro, a Japanese visual K rock band. The first one was Yuragu Kotonai Ai by Naomi Tamura. And then Vorn watched the other version of the sub.
Dub.
The dub. The other version of the dub where the OP changed and there were different voice actors, but the animation was the same. So we both watched a different version of the first half of season 2.
Apparently, I watched the flat-out inferior version, so maybe that just explains our ratings.
Yeah, you just watched the worst version
Yeah.
of all. I'm so sorry. I wish I genuinely didn't even notice. Like, genuinely did not. I had no clue that had happened.
When is the OP gonna change? Did Seki have the numbers wrong?
I had no clue that fucking happened.
We really found out because I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't hear this once, and this does. Like, at first, I thought maybe the OPs just started similarly, and I fucked myself. No. I was like, oh no, this is not the same at all. I pull out my phone, open up High Dive, open up the dub. I'm like, look, this is episode 29 in the middle of the final arc. I open it, it just starts the animation of the first dub, and she instantly recognized it was the original song.
Yeah, because it's... Anyway, so the first dub was done by ADV Films, and then the second one was done by Sony Pictures Entertainment in collaboration with Red Angel Media.
That's the question. Which one was which?
So the Sony one actually only broadcast on Animax in Asia and the Philippines, and the ADV Film English one is the one that premiered the one that was licensed into the US originally on the Anime Network website, and it doesn't tell me which one the OP stayed the same
I'm
on.
assuming
Go out
I
on a limb
want
and say
Sony.
that you had to watch Sony if it only broadcast in Asia.
Yeah.
You watched it on Billy.
Yeah. So you watched the Asian one where they changed the song, and you watched the
ADV one.
Yeah. Which would make sense. Oh God, I feel so bad. Oh.
You got 2 more tries here with Getbackers.
Only one more.
No, you got the manga, and then you
Oh,
got
yeah.
the rest of the anime.
The manga and the rest of the anime. However, you will now go into the rest of the anime, even if you watch it on High Dive, knowing to skip the OP for a different one.
You might just watch it on Billy, because fucking hell, those voice actors.
I try Billy once in a while, but one problem is it's kind of hard to search things on Billy.
Okay.
Yeah, use Google, and then you put in Billy.
So, okay,
That's how you fucking search Billy.
This is, we mentioned the studio name before, but I thought I'd cover it again. This is by Studio Dean. Releasing from 2002 to 2003. Studio Dean has also done interesting stuff like Ranma 1/2.
Konosuba.
Yep, Gravitation, Fruits
And
Basket.
For our Type Moon fans, Fate Stay Night 2006.
Rave Master,
Kick in the
Samurai
balls.
Deeper Kyo, obviously Getbackers. Let's see. I'm just checking because sometimes big studios, there's like a lot of stuff that I know.
They also ruined 7 Deadly Sins.
Oh, they did Junjo Romantica, Vampire Knight. More Junjo Romantica. Let's see. Nura, Rise of the Yokai Clan, Demon Capital. I don't know, and the original. So we've seen Nura by them.
Which was nice, but that was a slightly different.
It was a little older as well.
Artistic kind of thing.
They did Log Horizon.
Ooh.
And then in the more recent, they did. Haven't you heard? I'm Sakamoto des.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, and a few other things. So they've done good
Hits
and
and
bad.
misses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good
Hits
and
and
bad.
then really bad misses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's the studio. In terms of, I'm going to be careful when I say this. So the music, not the OPs, but the music is done by Taku Iwasaki, which was actually really interesting when I looked him up because I know a lot of things that Taku Iwasaki has done. He did the Rurouni Kenshin movies back in the late 90s and 2000s.
Okay.
He did Getbackers. He did Black Cat, Yakitake Japan, Kekaishi, Gurren Lagann, Persona Trinity Soul, Soul Eater, Black Butler, Jormungand, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Battle Tendency, Noragami, The Irregular at a Magic High School, Akagame ga Kill, Noragami Arigoto, Bungo Stray Dogs from release till now, more irregular, Honor Student at a Magic High School.
Yeah.
And he's also done work on the music for the game Muv-Luv Alternative.
Honestly, I thought the soundtrack of this was actually... I actually did appreciate the soundtrack on this one.
Also, he did some of the soundtrack for Final Fantasy 15 episode Arden, the game.
That's actually the one Final Fantasy 15 thing I've never played and haven't really experienced.
Yeah, so, and that's just like a basic overview of the things I recognize that he's done that I've seen. He's done quite a lot of other things, but prolific composer, and I know a lot of his works, and I'm actually quite familiar and happy with a lot of his works.
It was pretty good. I mean,
It's quite nice.
Yeah, like, what was it? The theme whenever Bon or Genji are about to fuck someone up. That theme, you know the theme.
Oh, yeah, you know
one,
the
That
theme.
one actually stuck out my eye. I was like, it's pretty good. A good little tune.
Yeah, so it's so that's the stuff we didn't really cover last time. It's based on a manga series. The manga's 39 volumes. The anime did the Full Metal Alchemist thing. The anime is fully ended. It was left with an open ending, but it is ended. However, it ended non-canon to the manga. So the second season goes a little off-canon and follows a different storyline, although the first season is relatively faithful to the manga, outside of a few deep lore bits that they're just not including. So this has gone up a little bit on our scale. We've got 3 approves and a meh.
B ranking now.
Yeah. Nice to see one of my season 1 shows go up. Because, man, that was
Maybe
a shit
you could have had
season.
an A ranking if you had caught that there was a better delve.
You should have messaged me.
I didn't think that there was much to say there.
You should have been like, I thought you said there was going to be a new OP.
My focus was on getting it done in this hectic week I had.
Yeah, we did. I think we actually ended up going a little over our normal amount of episodes. I do feel a little bad about that.
It was
but
a little bit of a retro change because originally we were only when you put the show back in the hat, we had a limit of 17 episodes. Since we did that, though, we added a little addendum like, okay, past that 17 episodes, if you need to finish an arc, you can go up to 20.
Yeah.
But don't do it just to get more episodes in.
Yeah, which was not my intention when I went a little over on the episode count.
But then I was looking at the episode, I was like, wait a minute. This arc has only one more episode in it.
Yeah, so we ended up watching to 33 instead of 32, like you may have heard at the end of last episode.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think we're going to go away now and then come back and talk about characters and story, which I am actually really excited for this week.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.